My name's Angelo, and welcome to We Want Picks. We are going to break down some of these Monkey Knife Fight lines. If you don't know what Monkey Knife Fight is, it is daily fantasy, and all you need to do is pick the more or less on the identified strike lines. And you know who sets those strike lines? Is our buddy Chris Reilly. So Chris, it's all of us versus him. He sets these lines. Let's take a look at him. He'll explain some of his logic. We'll talk about them. And then we could all go off and play these lines more or less and try to make some money. Before you go anywhere, go to wewantpicks.com/MKF. Sign up, make your deposit. They will give you an instant deposit match up to $100. How you doing, Chris?
I am doing good. It's been a while, man. Life has been busy for both of us, so I'm glad to be back, and it's a good card to come back on, too. This is awesome.
Yeah, two big numbered cards in a row. The rest of this year is unbelievable. Every card from here on out, the pay-per-views, the fight nights, all of it are really, really good. So this is where we're going to hit our stride, and there's probably going to be a lot of new people watching this. So let's walk through, explain how this works. I'll jump right in. We'll look at the main event. So we have Kamaru Usman versus Covington. You have established the line as 168.5 for Kamaru Usman, 114.5 for Covington, and all we need to do is decide, do we think they will land more or less than those lines? How did you get to this one? Did you look at their first fight, take that line, and it looks like you took a little bit off of it?
That's exactly what I did. Well, no, the first thing, well, yeah, because we have a rematch, so that was nice to have that as an option to kind of go back to something as a reference. But I looked to see what they set the odds, as I do every fight, right? Especially these 5-rounders. And right now, all the books are kind of at 4.5, minus 125 on the over, and about minus 125. Well, they're kind of all over the place. Minus 120 that it goes a decision. So, I mean, so we're expecting 25 minutes from these guys again. And I definitely looked at their last one and just them in general. When you pull up their stats, I feel like their stats are kind of skewed because, like, you have Usman and they only have him at 4.63 strikes per minute. Well, that's significant, but still, you're not too far off from your significant and regular strikes. But I feel like he's a lot higher than that. And when you look at his fights, especially the way these guys went at it last time, and after listening to you guys last night, it sounds like it's going to be a repeat of it. And these two just went ham last time. And I'll tell you right now, I put up a 157 for Usman. I felt like that was super high. And shit, man, it wasn't high enough. You guys spoke early. Everybody is just attacking the over on all of these 5-carders. Well, I guess there's only 2 5 because Gaethje's 3, huh?
Yeah.
But I'm getting hit with a lot of overs. And so we had to bump him up again. So really, in his last fight, let me pull that up real quick.
I looked it up. The last fight, it was like 174 for Usman and 140 something for Kobe, and that was basically 4 rounds, a little more than 4 rounds.
Yeah, 175. And then when you look at Masvidal, he had 263, and Woodley, he had 336. I mean, that's a ridiculous feeling. So, I mean, I understand where it is, but I'm going to tell you right now, oh my gosh, I'm having deja vu, except for it's kind of the opposite, because last time Rose and Usman fought, they were both on the same card, and they go to the same gym, and same with Gaethje. It's a Colorado gym. I don't know which one it is, but all the main events had over-unders like this, and what happened? Every single one ended in the first, and at that time, everybody and their dog was hitting the unders on. We were significant strikes, but everyone was hitting the under. It was Rose.
Oh, really?
Usman, Masvidal, and I was like, oh, I need these to go the distance. I forgot what the other fight was that night. But all 3 of them ended. We got swamped, and then this week I was hoping for more of the same, and people would go under. And I thought I was being a little clever with my 157 because that line is just ridiculous, right? And he's like, no, that didn't get over anybody. So we'll see where that keeps going. But that's where that stands, and I'm real curious to see what I'm going to close at the end of the week.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Rematches are always interesting. I mean, you watched our breakdown, and hopefully so did everybody else. I'm in the Usman camp for this one. I think he's improved greatly. Even if there's a stoppage, he could potentially get past that number. We'll see what happens in this fight. Rematches are always interesting to see who changed, who didn't, who improved, who hasn't. So I already played this. This is the only line I've played so far, and I played the more.
Okay.
I essentially just looked at the first fight, and I was like, this will be similar to the first fight, at least in that ballpark. And it was 175 and 140 something. So I went more here, and that ended. But if Usman knocked out Covington the same way he did Masvidal, that would be it would be surprising, but not shocking. And obviously, the less would be the move. Let's take a look quickly at Rose and Weili. This is another rematch, except you can't really look at the data from the first fight because it was ended in the first round pretty early, 2 minutes in. So do you even look at the first fight when you set this line, or you just look at what they normally do and extrapolate out 5 rounds?
You know, I should look at what I did on the first fight, to be honest with you. But I remember the first time they came up, I had them kind of high. Well, what I thought, because I was kind of basing Weili's fight off of, how do you pronounce the girl's name? Jacek. Yes, and I know that's kind of like that's a flyer. So I had her high, and then I love that you were saying that in your breakdown that you can't take much out of this first fight because I mean it was
2 minutes.
That's nothing.
You need a knockout.
When was that? Did you look that up? I should have looked it up, but I'm kind of lazy. But when was it? How was that? I don't know, what, 2 minutes in, 4 minutes in?
It's been like 8 months, something like that. It's been a little while.
No, I mean the fight, like it was early, if I recall correctly.
I think it was like 2 minutes. I think it was like 2 minutes in, maybe a little less.
That's what I was trying to remember. I got nothing out of that fight, and all of a sudden everyone's jumping camps because everyone was all on Weili. Like I remember Jacob telling us all the YouTube greatest person in the world, Weili, and because I did it, and and everyone was on Weili.
He was going for personality.
Yeah, but still, even with the fight, everyone expected that to be a war, and now I don't know. So I kind of based it off of just what they're doing, and to be real with you, like I said, that's a flyer on Weili. But Rose doesn't have output, and I'm curious because everyone's smashing her over, which I'm actually starting to get comfortable with. I told you I need to take a stance sometimes on these fights. But I mean, she also fought that Jacek girl. I've not seen her fight, but that went into a 5-round decision, and that's got to be high volume because all her fights seem to kind of output that way. And Rose only got 108. And then I saw another fight, which now we're kind of dating ourselves, going to 2015. She had another 5-round war and got 104. And
you cut out for a second there, but you were saying that Rose only got 108 against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Everybody's hitting the over.
Other 5-round finish, she had 105. That's what I was saying. Sorry to cut you off, but I got my train back, dude. I just don't have any of her decisions where her strike range is that ridiculous. And I mean, 114. But I've said this before, and people have called me out. But that's just kind of what I'm basing it off of, because also there could be a stoppage too, right? I know some people are calling for a submission, so I always have that in my back pocket. But yeah, everyone's crushing the over on that one too. So that's one I'm going to kind of take a stand. And maybe we'll see what the liability gets like.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because, Weili's coming off that war with Joanna. Weili has some decent volume. Rose has been in some wars, but to your point, she picks her shots. Jacob said it in the breakdown last night. She has laser accuracy. She's not crazy volume, not a ton of pressure. She's just super accurate. So it may seem like she's higher volume than she actually is. So this is one that I'm going to play the less. So anybody watching it doesn't know how to do this. Literally, you see 114.5. You think she's going to land more or less. You click it. 96 more or less. You click it. I'll go less here. I like to just do $10. Spread it out. $10 wins me 25. You lock it in, and it is that easy. These lines move, as Chris is mentioning. The money comes in. People play the lines. The lines move. And then maybe you get a more favorable one depending what you're thinking, or worse. My opinion, you see a line, you like it, hit it then. Do not wait for it to move because it will probably move against you. I procrastinate. I film the final videos on Fridays. And by the time Friday comes and I'm filming that video, I hate 99% of the lines. So the early ones are definitely the way to go.
And that's why we always encourage you guys, because I know you're going to be picking up a lot of steam with the channel, with all the Glover and your connections and stuff. And the channel's just rolling too, man. And you guys are getting in your rhythm as well. And that's why I'm going to just preach it again. Get in on these videos, get in on Tuesday, get on all week, because I don't mind doing this because we don't get nearly as much action throughout the week as we do just the day before the fight. So a lot of the people aren't doing their homework and research. So you guys have a huge edge here. Just listening to these podcasts and just seeing what we're doing here, if you guys want to start playing and make them a little bit, because no one's really doing that. And everyone just pounds in right before the fight, which makes sense. I get it.
Yeah, people are late. And you know what? DraftKings, I do my analysis all week. I set my lineup right before the fight, but this moves. This is a living, breathing number. That it's not static, so you should not wait. So the next one I pulled up here is Bobby Green, Al Iaquinta. Interesting matchup. Al Iaquinta hasn't fought in 2 years. He's almost at this point known for losing to Khabib, but he was just so tough. He hung in there, defended some takedowns. Bobby Green, one of the toughest dudes on the planet, good striking, decent grappling. This is a high-ish type line, not nearly as high as Shane Burgos line, but this is a high-ish type line. I was just curious, what were you thinking here, and how do you feel about this one?
Okay. See, Angelo, these are things you need to hit me up with before we go into podcast so I can kind of look into it. But you know what? It's all good. I'll go straight from the dome on here and pull up some stats.
I didn't even plan on talking about this one, and then I saw it, and I don't know why. It was like a Ouija board. My mouse just
I totally get it. This is a good one to talk about too, because actually I specifically remember this one because I know Bobby Green because I've seen him fight a couple times. He's busy, man. I mean, yeah, look at that. He fought 1, 2, 3, 4 times and 5 times in the last year, roughly. Yeah. So yeah, he's a busy guy, and the guy has high output. So that was obviously, I knew he was going to be a heavy striker. And to be real with you, man, I didn't know much about the other guy. And I just listened to your guys' podcast today. I didn't even know the Khabib thing. I guess, there it is on his fight log. So I was just kind of basing his line more off of some of the output I had in his other ones. But again, this fight is a 2.5 over, or here, screw the 2.5. It's minus 300 on some of these books to go to a decision.
They're just both of these dudes are tough as hell and hard to finish. So, they're just really tough guys. And regardless of how you feel the fight is going to go, the likelihood of them both surviving is really good.
Yeah, and Bobby Green has sailed past 106 multiple times, but at the same, so, try to trim a little bit off of it in case it goes to the ground. And hey, I'm liking that odds because, yeah, again, all the high strike line guys right now apparently have not been high enough, because that's another one people are hitting the overs on, which makes sense. I mean, he went 143, 109, 94, 136, 90. Those are his last 5. So, I mean, he has
busy guy.
He has quite the median to his range, and a pretty high ceiling as well. So it was more on the other side, seeing if he can slow down, but I haven't seen it. And yeah, I kind of watched your guys' breakdown because, there's so many fighters in the UFC. It's impossible to sit here and act like I know all of them. I've been really heavy into this since we started picking up the product in COVID. So, that's why I reach out to you guys, because you can't act like the smartest guy in the room if you want to do something like that. And of course, I'll be off on some of them. Sometimes I aren't. That's why I love listening to your guys' breakdowns. And it's just like, oh shit, I learned a bunch about it, and I move these lines. Another reason you guys should get in, because you guys caught me with my pants down multiple times. I don't give a shit. I mean, I'm human. It's hard, and I'll just go in there and change it and get that good line for all the people who jump in right before. So what do you think?
Let those people take the beating. The people who watch our show and pay attention early can get the good ones, and we'll let the people on Saturday get the crap kicked out of them.
Honestly, that's been my motto the whole time. And anytime I talk to someone at work and they're like, actually, that's really smart, we like it. So with the suits, so it works well. They're like, all right, yeah, this does work. And it's just cool to interact with people too. Also, join that Discord. I've been trying to get more active on it. So if you guys want to hit me up directly in a chat, I'm not always on it, but I always check because I'm on a computer nonstop. I work remote on a computer. So I will interact with everybody there on Discord.
Yeah, and I've seen some people. I've seen some people hit you up on the Discord questions. You're pretty good about getting back to them. So I definitely appreciate that. The last fight I'll talk about real quick is John Volante versus Chris Barnett. So Chris Barnett's a guy, I mentioned it. I spent quite a bit of time with him. I managed a whole bunch of fighters in the XFC. Chris Barnett was like the XFC's poster child. So I spent a lot of time with him. Dude is stupid athletic, really fun, down to earth, nice guy. John Volante, decent everywhere as far as fighting is concerned, but he does not take his career seriously. He's a heavyweight. He should be a middleweight. And you're going to look at Chris Barnett's body and say, well, he's not going to win a bodybuilding competition anytime soon either. But that is literally just how he's built. He doesn't have cardio issues. The dude could do a standing backflip. Like, that guy is athletic and ready to go. And this was an interesting strike line because we have John Volante at 71, Chris Barnett at 34. I think Chris wins this. I'm very, very confident in that. This was the one that I split. I said less on John, more on Chris, because I do think John Volante will be a step behind dealing with the craziness of Chris Barnett, and 34 strikes is not that much. What was your logic? Because you only had one fight to go off for Chris Barnett against Ben Rothwell.
Yeah, exactly. And I can tell you exactly how I kind of came to this fight, because I do remember this, and I heard your breakdown, and this is another good example of what I was talking about. Some guys I don't have too much to go off of, and then I learn a lot more about them. So when I looked at this fight, the first thing I noticed is while you're on Chris Barnett, or the line's shockingly slightly moving across the books the other way, right? So I'm seeing, and some of them opened him up at Volante at -150, and I see him at -130 on a couple books, and you can get +110 on the other side. I'm on you. I'll probably jump with you and wait for the lines. Hopefully they get higher, and I'll jump on Barnett with you. But seeing that, I kind of looked at his long, and be real with you, I thought he had a longer reach because he's a lot taller, but I'm looking at 76 inches to 75, so I screwed up there, and I thought Volante possibly just had a higher reach. And if you look at, or longer reach, and when you look at his fights, he actually does have that range. He has 81, 91, 81 in 3 of his fights. So I was like, all right, so if he can kind of keep a reach and keep at distance, then I don't think the line that I set there is too out of, that's very hittable. He's done it 3 times. And then on the other side, this kind of accounts for a whole different type of fight. You broke this down well, and I love that you broke it, because like if he's going to knock him out, then it's a clear under on the other side. But what do you think on the 34? It's just what you think he's going to knock him out soon or fast. So that's why I try to split this one up, especially because they're bigger guys, and the fight's going to go one of 2 ways. So you got to call it both ways. So it's like, if you think it's going to go the distance, then it's probably an over, or you can get it under if you think, it's going to be a late stoppage. Or if you think it's going to be an early stoppage, could be a good under, but that's still hard to go under 34 unless he goes out there and knocks him out.
Yeah, I'll never do an under on something. And obviously it happens. We just saw last week there was a couple fights with like 8 strikes. But I just not – 34 is so little.
It is, and that one – and the other thing that's kind of trending on this one too is the 1.5 round line's now -200. So 2.5 is actually even money. So they're calling for this not to be – a quick knockout.
Super quick. Yeah. And frankly, I like the less more here, but yeah, it may be more. John Volante, he's not necessarily a bum. And I don't think I didn't do this thinking that John was going to get knocked out quickly. I did this just thinking that Chris Barnett would get to him, and he's so athletic and he's confused. He just spinning wild that I think John may have a hard time getting to Chris Barnett.
I'm excited for this card, and this is going to be one I'm going to be targeting on. Yeah, I'm pumped, man. This is going to be a fun week as well, and we got a normal start time. That's good.
Yeah.
And honestly, I know we have some other fights that we didn't touch on, and I told you this before we started filming, but man, you broke down some of these fights so well. Watch the Gaethje and Chandler breakdown. You nailed it. Another one, Angelo, I'm dependent on you here right now on that Burgos Cartello one, or not? How do you pronounce that? Cornatello. Either way,
Billy Cornatello.
Yeah. Either way, I had a knee-jerk reaction because I'm getting pounded on overs, but I do have some on under money. Then I saw you guys' broadcast this morning. I'm like, oh, that's Angelo and his boys on the under. So this is going to be one where I'm going to.
Yeah, hopefully I'm right there. I mean, frankly, they are 2 really busy guys, but those are just such astronomical. I'll show it real quick. Those are just such astronomical numbers for a 3-round fight. Those are, and it was what? You lower it?
No, I don't think I touched it.
Okay, it's just.
What do you have it? No, yeah, 130. Because I didn't touch it because I was going to, and then I left it up there. And you know what? We're gonna jump on this fight a little bit. Bonus fight. You did it to me. So look at this is what's going on. I get people's logic because when you look at Shane Burgos' fight log here, here's his strikes, and these aren't significant. So if there's any clinch and they're getting busy, these guys are going. Yeah, it's 80, 148, 161, 147. That's his last 3-round finishes. Yeah. Or not 3-round finishes, fights that were And, and then on the other side, it's not much better. 179, 136, 112, 110, 139. Fuck. I mean, that's not looking, you know what I mean? 112 seems to, and everyone's saying that.
If you look at them individually, then yes, the more and more is 100% the play. I just think that it'll be uglier than those other fights. I don't think Billy's going to be as willing to engage with the striking. I think there'll be some attempted grappling that could slow down some of these strikes, and there could be a stoppage. So that's always the X factor that we always throw out there. Then, we break down this stuff for 15 minutes and the fight only goes 30 seconds. So that can always happen. Yeah.
No, but I completely agree with you.
Yeah, this
So
is a
you know
tricky
what? This
one.
is kind of one where this is one of those insight ones. Because to be real with you, if you're feeling this less, I mean, unless money starts coming in, because the way it's going right now, it's about 7-1 on overs to unders. And I'm glad I got that one from you and the boys. I got hit hard on this one.
Hopefully you raise the line, and then I can hit the less later in the week.
I mean, that might happen, but this is where, yeah, you're gonna have to help me out here. I'm going with your original analysis, and sometimes I'll stick it and just kind of lay it, and hope you're right, because you know what? This is the difference between the sharps and the public. And I love getting you guys' insights. See, this is one of those examples where it really helps me too, even though I'm giving out some insights. So see, it pays to watch these podcasts all the way to the end.
The last thing we'll touch on real quick is Knockout Kings. This is my favorite. I've only missed one single Knockout King since it started, and it's because I got
last week.
No, I hit last week. Yeah, Lerone Murphy.
Oh, you did? Congratulations, because how'd you little shits like Knockout Kings last week?
Because Ankalaev didn't
we
do
have
it.
never done so well.
Oh, that's funny. I had Lerone Murphy got me paid. Yeah, because Ankalaev didn't get a knockout, and Shimaev got a submission, and that's who everybody probably hammered.
And then if you doubled up the main, you lost that too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I'm good. I got Lerone Murphy.
Hey, that you win, I win. We're good. I love it.
Knockout Kings, easiest thing in the world. You pick any 3 fighters that you want, any 3 that you think could win by KO or TKO. And if you get one of the 3, you get a 25% net profit. 2 of them, you 2.5 times your money. 3, you 6 times your money. I am not a greedy person, so I just chase that free 25% every week. This is an interesting one. I don't know where to go here, because there's not a lot of guys on here that I'm positive will get a knockout. I would almost double up the Gagey Chandler fight and assume there's some sort of TKO there. And then the last one, man, maybe Dustin Jacoby. That's probably what my Knockout Kings will be. Dustin Jacoby, nasty kickboxer. He is taking it on short notice. But John Allen is tough, so that's a tricky one. Chris Curtis isn't going to happen. Chris Barnett, maybe. Phil Hawes, probably a decision. This is actually one of the trickier ones. You could grab Rose if you think that's going to happen again. Or honestly, it's probably Ian Gary. Let me get rid of Dustin Jacoby. It's probably Ian Gary. He's a nasty striker out of the UK. People are loving him. Tons of hype. It's probably Ian Gary. What do you think about this one?
I see plus 120. He wins by TKO, and another book has minus 135. So, yeah, that sounds like pretty good odds.
Yeah, plus 120 for a very specific.
Yeah, that's what FanDuel has, and DraftKings is minus 135.
Yeah.
Gary wins by TKO. There you go. That's a good bet. I got to help you guys out after last week.
This will probably, I'm just going to lock this in now. Well, I'm going to wait, because Knockout Kings is the only thing that the line doesn't move. So there's no rush to get my Knockout Kings in. The other lines, they do move. So any parting words for us before I leave you?
No, man, it's been a lot of fun. Again, I'm super excited for all of you guys and Glover and everything, man. And like I said, I'm more settled in. I finally moved. I'm in Vegas again. I will be around. So if you guys ever need me, hit me up, buddy. I appreciate it. I love this stuff.
Well, congrats on the move. I appreciate you hopping on here and sort of sharing your line. Sorry that it's us against you, but that is the reality of it. So we're gonna
honestly, that's not what. There's not much complaints. This is what I do for a living. Not many people can say that. So if that's how you want to coin it, that's cool, bro.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate everything.
I still make friends.
I hope you're bad at your job this week, but I do appreciate you. So thank you very much. Thanks for the time.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.